Good afternoon. My name is Vipul Nanda, and I shall be speaking to you right now about the idea of the political class of India having failed to meet the aspiration of its youth. We must understand that when we're conceiving of our political ruling class and the Indian youth, the context in which this question arises deals with three issues primarily. First, the idea of corruption. The Indian youth have, through the agency of the media, happened to see that our ruling class and our government has consistently been, over the past at least 8 to 10 years, been involved in a series of corruption linked scams in which money that's the exchequers that belongs to us as citizens, that the youth are hoping will be invested into the future of this country, that they have a huge role to play in, is being taken away from us, is being put into the pockets of vested interests, is being sent abroad to black money accounts, and that it's something that's being removed from us. It's something that our country is being robbed from. The legacy we thought we'd lost once we'd gotten rid of the British colonial masters. Unfortunately, now our own people are doing this to us, and obviously this is something that worries the youth of India today and challenges the idea that its ruling class is doing enough to meet the aspirations of its youth. Secondly, on the issue of women's safety and their rights, and understanding that culturally or socially there happens to be a divide between an Indian educated middle class and those individuals who, even if they might be educated, even if they are particularly well off, and it's not easy to just couch it in terms of economic prosperity or the educational level, there's a cultural prevalence of the idea that women are inferior and that they need protection from both themselves and from the men around them. However, this is something that the youth of India is attempting to reject. We see across the nation, especially in urban centers, a large number of women who are standing up and speaking out for the idea that they are no different and they ought to be accorded the same sort of respect in our public spaces. And this is also somewhere that our government has failed to provide the kind of leadership or safety that women would require to be participating members of our society. The harm that is caused by this is a basic idea that almost half our population, if not actually half our population, lives in like substandard conditions, to the extent that they are unable to contribute as much as we might hope for or expect to not only our economy but our social structure, and so on and so forth. And finally, the thing that probably bothers the Indian youth the most is the idea of the missed economic opportunity that we've seen over the past decade. Because there was a time when India was supposedly coming into its own and becoming closer to the idea of being an economic superpower. There was a lot of talk about it. There still continues to be a lot of rhetoric about that idea. However, we've seen over time that given the kind of policy retardation emerging from our central government has led to a scenario where not only is this economic opportunity already slipping away, if not completely lost, that we're slipping down, our GDP growth is down, the kind of development or growth that we were hoping to see in our country has not yet been achieved. And for all those reasons, I think the political class of India has failed to meet the aspiration of its youth.